many of those before in his career, but he was the first rider in sprint and Grand Prix history to not complete a single race lap across the weekend. He was out on the first lap of the sprint, he was out on the first lap of the Grand Prix. That has never happened previously to a rider in the new sprint and Grand Prix. I'm really sorry to have to mention that, Joanne. Let's look at some good news, shall we? He's going to be Ducati in 2027.
Yeah, well, he understood why he crashed on the Saturday. He said he didn't understand the crash on the Sunday, but perhaps on board a Ducati next year with the continue to maybe he won't have to ride at the same level of risk that he has been in the past on a Honda. We shall see. He's saying about to take some risks in this session because it's going to take absolutely everything he's got to get a Honda into qualifying two. From what we've seen so far this weekend, the top 10 yesterday and what we saw earlier this morning, it's going to take at the bare minimum, surely, something on a very low 1 minute 20 and perhaps more likely something in a sort of high-ish 1:19 to get yourself out of this session.
7 riders yesterday to go through to Q2 directly were in the 1:19s. Pecco Bagnaia not being one of them. He had all kinds of issues yesterday as Moreira, as he so often does, latches onto the rear tyre who he thinks is going to potentially drag him round to Q2. Every position on the grid important for Moreira, of course, with the incoming 3-place grid penalty. He was balking Luca Marini yesterday afternoon. Pecco Bagnaia was all at sea yesterday. 0 GP reported on the factory GP26. There were 4 quite radical setup tweaks they made yesterday inside that Bologna garage, which did not offer him any kind of hope or any kind of speed. He was a lot more on it this morning, it's fair to say. He'll need to be in this Q1 session as Fabio Quartararo attacks hard on the brakes down the hill. Hard to believe, isn't it? The SACHSENRING Grand Prix here back in 2022. The last time the 27-year-old Frenchman stood on the top step of a Grand Prix podium. The last time Yamaha took a victory in MotoGP. You would have thought on that occasion, halfway through 22, we'd still be waiting 4 years later for another Fabio Quartararo and another Yamaha win.
And it looked like he was absolutely nailed on for the 2022 World Championship, wasn't it? When he won that particular Grand Prix when he was 91 points ahead of Pecco Bagnaia. Of course, that turned around and really it hasn't turned back around for Quartararo and Yamaha since. But it is a heavyweight Q1 session. Then we have the 2020, 2021 and the 2022 and 23 MotoGP World Champions battling it out. Of course, only 2 can go through.
Quartararo knows that there are 1:19s out there on an M1 because Jet Miller proved it yesterday. As mentioned, Jet's found a superb 1:19.841. So Quartararo knows that there's a lot more from the package underneath him than the 1:20.2 he managed yesterday, which was more than a respectable lap time. It was a fast pace, it just was not anywhere near as good as Miller. First salvo then for Quartararo is a 1:20.146, which is his best time on the weekend so far. Bagnaia then does for the first time break into the 1:19, so too does Joan Mir. So that's a statement early couple of laps from Bagnaia and Mir. Straight away they're in the 19s.
Yeah, Mir's just behind the Bagnaia-Moreira duo that we were following on the outlets. Moreira putting a 20.2 up behind the 2-time MotoGP World Champion, the 63 of Bagnaia. So check out Moreira yet.
Shaking off rings, just has not got the pace on the factory Yamaha. Bagnaia might be dragging Moreira out to the best time here, no question about it. Into turn 12, here we go then. Catch on the front tyre there for Moreira. Brand new soft rear tyre. We saw this with the 6 lap that Bagnaia's got on that front. Doesn't have a tendency to go fresh over in the rear to push a wall in front. Over the line we go there. Moreira, well, he does find his first time in the session. Close to the 1:19s, but not close enough. He stays in third place. Bagnaia did indeed though pick up his pace on 1:19.753. It's been a cruise so far for Bagnaia. He's almost a quarter of a second clear. Joan Mir in second.
It feels pretty safe with that, has to be said. That 1:19.7, maybe one rider might with a Banzai that beat it, but I'd be surprised if True beat it. Bagnaia at the moment only 1:22 into his Mir. Fails to improve on his 1:19.9, so he stays in a slightly precarious second.
Yeah, that 19.753 from Bagnaia. We're pretty fifth quickest yesterday. He's come to the party 24 hours too late as Quartararo. Good at this by Quartararo. He's close to that top 2 already. He might be pushing himself into that top 2. Out of the final corner goes Quartararo. Brilliant. Pulling once again by the Frenchman. He knew he was going to have to find a 1:19 to have any chance of being in Q2, and he has, as he so often does, has delivered. Winning really mattered. A 19.864 then from Quartararo. That has poked Mir then down to third place.
So the 3 MotoGP World Champions in this session are now first, second and third. Bagnaia just put an exclamation point on it potentially. No, it's a 19.8 for Bagnaia. No improvement. That from Quartararo matches the 1:19.8 that he saw from Jack Miller yesterday.
Look at this from Mir on the charge. Oh, he lost it all in the third sector. So just say that Honda not really turning as well as he hoped. What you need is turning here in the SACHSENRING. So much of this 79, 82nd lap you spent at lean angle, cracked over at max lean. Oh, we go then. Mir's running out of time here. 3.5 minutes of the session remaining as HRC Tech Director Romano Alvesiano looks on. He's going to have to find something pretty special here later on in the session because he's well over a tenth adrift of Quartararo in that second place.
He's at 1:19.9. He's seen in this session. Marini's looking to make a late start as well to get himself into the top 10, and he is just about within range. He can hold that gap captain Pecco Bagnaia. He would sneak ahead of Fabio Quartararo, because Luca Marini has been quite a frequent Q1 participant, but only on one previous occasion when he's been in Q1 has he got through. Is he now about to make it too as he climbs out of the Quickenborg corner and he matches Mir? He gets to within 200 of Mir. It's a 120 flat and he stays in fourth.
Sixth place, that's the best time of the session from the South African. He's improved to 120.184. As he stands at the moment, it's looking like Pedro Acosta will be going to get alone for KTM in Q2. Sideways over the crest goes Bastianini. It might look pretty cool, it might look spectacular from that point of view, but it's not the fastest way around the SACHSENRING for the beast, who's been stuck in those low 120s. At the moment, it's going to be staring down the barrel of the 17th place on the grid. Brilliant by Marini once again, he's been superb in that second sector. Is he about to deliver a bit of a late knockout blow here on Fabio Quartararo? Fabio Quartararo's taking Luca Marini's factory Honda seat in 2027. He drops down then through turn 11. Look at this by Marini. Oh, he's been brilliant well in the third sector. If this is all clean, if this is all neat, then through these final two turns, one left-hander remaining for Marini, and this could be him advancing into Q2. Are we going to get two Italians then in the top two places? On the gas he goes, over the crest. That's going to lose all in that final sector. It's another PB lap for Marini, 119.988. But unfortunately, Fabio Quartararo can breathe a big sigh of relief because his 119.8 still good enough for Q2.
Yeah, Quartararo, who in a bit of lapse of concentration at the start of the very session, almost put his traction on with his sunglasses still on his head. That was the only thing that went wrong for Fabio in that Q1 session. And Honda will be spitting mad on them with that. Mir, Marini and Moreira all within a tenth of each other. 2 on a 19.9, Moreira on a 20.0, third, fourth and fifth for them. Bastianini will be even more cross with that as he comes up across Diogo Moreira, who's already got 3 places to add on to his group position of 15th, which will go to 18th. And if Bastianini gets his way, he might get more added on.
Stewards will probably look at it. Bang on the money as always as the boss looks on. Gunther Steiner and the time sheets, the time screens inside that temporary goes. They don't make for particularly pleasant reading, do they? For Gunther, because Bastianini in 7, Maverick Vinales 10. The Top Gun is firing blanks at the moment. He's having a miserable time really both on and off the bike at the moment, with major uncertainty about his future in MotoGP. So Luca Marini is going to just come up short, just over a tenth behind Fabio Quartararo. We saw he had great pace in sectors 2 and 3. Those last couple of corners where Marini is over for the beast as well. A shake of the head in frustration for Bastianini. So he is going to be 17th on the grid for this afternoon's sprint. He will get bumped up a spot with the incoming Moreira penalty because Diogo Moreira, despite his chasing of Pecco Bagnaia, looks like he's going to end that session in 5th. 15th to 18th, he'll drop on the grid for tomorrow's Grand Prix over 30 laps.
It's fair to say that Honda won't go any quicker with both Mir, Moreira and Moreira, 3 M's all within a tenth of a second of each other. We know he's capable of something quite heroic on a single qualifying lap. I don't not quite go in the top shelf of Quartararo Classics in a qualifying session, but it still takes something impressive for him to ensure that there are 2 Yamahas in the 12 that will compete in the upcoming Q2 session.
5th time 11 Grand Prix this year, Fabio 27 at Q2.
So this is Ayagura we're talking about, a spec.
This SACHSENRING Grand Prix leading the World GP in 51. Led the standings in Batman Grand Prix at Hockenheim. Going into the summer break. Here in Q2 sessions here in the SAC, what is to come. He's had pole, what is arguably his most. Anything that's anti-clockwise, anything that's predominantly dominant, it's the 93 to expect him to deliver
today. 3.90, a fraction behind it. Let's get him over the fastest lap of the day so far.
0.394 was Mark's best pace of the weekend so far. Still the all-time lap. Who's put himself in prime position, Digia, on our south and north course for his 5th front of the night. Oh no! Well, that is the lap. Poor old Marco Bezzecchi, who is career right now. We were just saying that he got up a big high side, 4th gear, down game for Marco Bezzecchi. Your heart gutted, beaten, bruised after his 2 in Assen, 13 days ago now. Bezzecchi.
119.2 for Raul. So some good news at least for Aprilia. No, certainly not there. He is just now getting released, and that will surely put some big questions.
It was sliding, and then it gripped. Let's have a listen to this one because this is scary. About 170 kilometers an hour. We didn't want to see. The good news is time to just try and catch his breath, not really a millimetre of his body that's not. Back in the session, those riders that are still 119.26, exactly a quarter.
Hadn't come out yet for Raul Fernandez when he came 19.2. Here's Alex Marquez, who could, but Alex Marquez and Pecco Bagnaia is about to, and it's likely to put him on the front.
In MotoGP, has he? You've got to go all the way back 5 years ago. The last has been coming. He led FP1 the S patch right now, isn't he? Brimming with confidence as he running hot into the first corner.
Yeah, one of the Alex Marquez was actually just signalling to go ahead of him, and he was rolling out of his lap. Perhaps an early sort of on a 119.5 as he has a big moment as he then you can still see the trail and the marks to inflict further punishment on him.
Marc Marquez, he'll know exactly how Marco Bezzecchi's figuring right. He launched himself to the moon. It was crash. Marquez said my brain and body can't take out of that final year of his HR's front row of the grid. We tracked the world champion up into P2, 119.900ths.
And we know that final sector is a SACHSENRING circuit. What, a minute 19 T2 session if Marc Marquez wants it now back. But given that he's currently fifth, to send Marco back out onto the racetrack.
After the fairy tale, the draw at that Italian Grand Prix, just how it is for poor old Marco Bezzecchi, who has just told us that Marc Marquez is not a two-strong of the three-time attacks. Well, here, haven't you? It's a very, very short. This is the place if you're going to do a two-stop provisional pole position. So the last thing he needs to...
Yeah, the rear kicked out on Ralph Fernandez there through to cut the VR46 Ducatis. Digia looking to try and reclaim pole position.
Around the SACHSENRING is Fabio De Giannantonio, able to ping himself onto that front row, and on Digia goes, it's P1, or still a smidgen outside of his all-time lap. Reto as Fabio De Giannantonio then on pain.
Fernandez also looks like he's doing a run. Bagnaia still down in ninth. See more from him in the latter stages. Still 5 minutes here in the SACHSENRING.
Giannantonio, Frankie Morbidelli. Morbidelli actually is ahead of him to get himself up into fifth place. That's something, just to remind you, after he was penalty for the Grand Prix tomorrow. So 50, Agura on the charge. We're on the front row.
Yeah, so with Bezzecchi relegated tomorrow's Grand Prix, that penalty of Morbidelli does not the sprint from there. What kind of third sector has I got? 3 or 4, but as it stands, Agura...
The File Trackhouse at the moment are living super time. He came with a sprint 1-2 and a Grand Prix 1-2. Trackhouse of Prillies that are on the front row of the grid. Second row with Brother Alex and Morbidelli. Sort of pole threat so far, but you turn 3. And now it's just left, being honest now, as Marc Marquez
amazingly has also set the fastest first sector. Ralph Fernandez chases De Giannantonio, but Marc Marquez snatch away not only pole position but a lap record.
A chunk of them have come right here in the shore that he's got clear tarmac ahead of him. The first corner here in the SACHSENRING, we've seen so much drama there. Marc Marquez and Ralph Fernandez potentially. Over let me go, of course. Marc Marquez sees the SACHSENRING. He's done it once again. He finds a 119.041 MotoGP pole position. It's certainly for the time being here at the SACHSENRING.
Alex Marquez, he takes second on a 19.1, fourth. Quattararo also in the midst of a 3.83. He takes sixth place.
And anything the Aprilis can do, Ducati saying a while ago that 2 Aprilis were on the front row of the grid, with an all Ducati lockout of the front row. Warrior for KTM in this session. He's down in 10th, mid to high 119s as a Costa at the moment.
He won't improve on P11, so he got it far from there. Pedro Acosta, one place out through the grid. Martin signaling there with his right foot that he's getting it.
Look at 2 front row starts so far. And near the front row in this session. But he's been suffering with a bit so far this weekend. Front row here, Acosta, but he's going to be nowhere near it. Is the third row of the grid. Could be 9th here, and 13 he goes, drops the rear right. No improvement, so Acosta then. It's out of it though, doesn't it? So Acosta at best.
Fits with 5 seconds remaining, so a bit of a miserable upper place on the grid tomorrow with Morbidelli. The third row tomorrow will be Bezzecchi Martin, still showing no signs of improvements. The World Championship League, that 1 lap prior to the turn 7 high.
Third row or lower. Of course, Stander, he was always able to deliver that record pole sitter in Moto3. I hope in his MotoGP career as well. His last time out in Assen was it. Anybody really doubt it? It's about pole positions here at the SACHSENRING. Record a great morning for the Marquez brothers. An all Ducati front row. It is a Bologna factory. DNF last time out in Assen. Well, he's had plenty of those before in his career.